Go Blue, everyone. Oh, no. And also, Sherrone Moore, 2-game suspension. It's all coming to you next on Michigan Wolverines Live. And welcome to another episode of Michigan Wolverines Live. Today is Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. I hope everybody had a great Cinco de Mayo. I'm John Diadamo, and I'm going to be your host for the next hour or so. It's our 198th episode. We're only 2 away from the big 200. We're coming to you from YouTube. We're coming to you from Twitch. We're coming to you from X. And we're coming to you from all the audio platforms on your drive to work. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and iHeart. Go ahead and leave us a rating or a review if you are listening to us on audio. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, share this out with at least one friend. If everybody sends this YouTube link out to a couple of people that they know on their group chats, on their Facebook groups, on their Discord chats, on their message board, just throw the YouTube link anywhere that you think people will enjoy the content. And then hit the like button as you come in. It really does help. It just takes a second. And finally, go ahead and send us a super chat. If you want your comment or question to be read on screen, it means a lot. And you do get all the priority in comments and questions. And here we go. Back at it. As always, on our Tuesday show, we got TJ in the house on a heater. How you doing? I can see the flames coming.
I mean, I'm good, but there's a lot of bullshit right now, which we're gonna get into it. We're gonna do a lot of it. There's a lot to talk about. I mean, obviously, John, we're gonna talk about the Santa ONO situation. We have a lot to get into. Sherrone Moore situation, and then the recruiting. What's going on with recruiting? We're gonna get into all of that. There's actually, I'm gonna tell you right now. Me and John joke about how there's no off season with Michigan. Because it's always something, and it is always something. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, you guys stick with us in the show. We're going to uncover all of it. We got a lot of ins and ins on some things, and what's really happening with a lot of these things. I'll tell you right now, we're going to bring complete clarity to the Santa ONO situation. So I know there's some Buckeyes lurking. I see some Buckeyes saying, "Oh, Santa ONO, no. Wait till we tell you how this went down." But anyways, and I'm pissed about it.
It's wild. It's wild stuff.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Tom's here. Oh, insight. Yeah, we got insight for you. Russell Harris here. NCAA pretending like other teams weren't doing the same thing when they absolutely were doing the same thing. Stephen Powers is here. Moose. GT in the house because I said I'm relaxing in chat. Our usual no politics rule, given the Santa ONO situation involves politics. So GT, of course, says the 1984 election was rigged. So there you go, just starting things off. Buckeye Mike is here, and while I may not agree with takes like this, I do think that Buckeye Mike is a good dude. So if everybody can just be nice to him, we've done shows together. Like he's a cool dude.
We'll get into the whole Sherrone Moore thing, but that'll be topic number 2. We got some other items we'll get to first.
I love this. Ward Manuel should suspend himself. Absolutely. Hard facts right there.
After the stuff we're going to share, you may want some others to suspend themselves. Okay.
Yeah. Santa signed my degree. Yeah. I had the last Mary Sue Coleman degree before she originally stepped down. So that might age me a bit there, but yeah, Santa's a good, I'm going to miss Santa. I'm just going to say that, but here we go. Last thing, Moose says, I don't celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I'm American. So there you go.
Actually, that's kind of an oxymoron because Cinco de Mayo is kind of an American holiday. In Mexico, they do not celebrate Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. So, well, he also Moose likes to say, "I'm sorry, I thought this was America."
For you ain't wrong.
So
giving out parking tickets. What are we doing here? Anyways.
So All right, a couple of things we want to just get out the way. Housekeeping. We do want to encourage everybody to consider the Connor Stallions Espionage tier or any membership tier here at the Voice of College Football Michigan channel, starting at just $2.99 a month. At $4.99 and up, you get access to our special member streams. So we guarantee the third Monday of every month is our. We're bringing it back is our members stream, and then we did also have a semi-Avengers / call-in show last night. Kinetic, I said to Kinetic, I'm cooking. I have some things to get off my chest. I haven't had an outlet to get off my chest yet, so we went live. Some of you were there. Bull was there. Moose was there. It was a great time. Yep, Bull was there. Nick was there. We had everybody was calling in. Everybody was sharing their thoughts. Marmar called in. Good times had by all. So go ahead and hit and become a member. And not only that, but the Bull is celebrating. Thank you for 10 months. That is absolutely awesome. Really do appreciate that. And if you want to join Bull, aka B-Dub, and become a member, the link is right there in chat right now. Go ahead and click that, and then you can become a member at any level that you're able to. So we do appreciate everybody doing that. And we have our first super chat, and this is actually perfect for GT. Has this ability sometimes where he knows what we're going to start talking about, and then he makes a funny super chat to go with it. And so my sources are telling me that the NCAA was trying to force Santa Ono to commit seppuku, but he chose exile to Florida instead. And you know, it's debatable sometimes which one is better, but I think I'd take Florida.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't surprise me the NCAA is seeking to those low levels. I mean, nothing. You know, would you expect anything less from the NCAA, John?
Yeah, it's literally that it's par for the course.
Yeah, these days.
So here's our theme for the whole episode. So the Michigan Board of Regents were willing to go against the President of the United States, but they weren't willing to go against the NCAA to back up their head coaches. And there we go. And that kind of it dives. You can respond to that before we tackle Santa Ono if you want.
I'll just say, I'm going to stress this right now on the show. This is not left. This is not right. This is just calling it what it is. You know, this is not John or I favoring one side or the other. I know politics can get very touchy and sensitive, and these types of. This is not what this is. We're just going to lay out the facts of the situation, and they are what they are. They are what they are, but it is going to get a little political in sense of it just has a political theme around it. I mean that so for those who want to know what happened with Santa Ono, why did Santa Ono run off? Okay, I want to point people to an article. Okay, there's an article by the Detroit Free Press written by Nolan Finley. It's called "The Insult That Cost University of Michigan Its President." Very good article. Very it is behind a paywall, so we will only read a few excerpts from it. We will not read the whole article or anything like that. But I want to point out a few things from this article. And if you guys want to read the article, go to the Detroit News. It's there. A lot of goodies in it, a lot of inside info. But you know, a lot of people, especially like Buckeyes, and there's even fans like trying to figure out what happened with the Santa Ono situation. Why did Santa Ono just jet? Is it because the NCAA is coming? Is it because the hammer's coming? Is it because Santa Ono's aware of what's to come with the punishments and all? No, absolutely nothing to do with that. This is another example, John, of Michigan getting in its own way, ruining something that they have with good individuals. Michigan did this with fucking Jim Harbaugh, and we see it right now with Santa Ono, and we're going to get into what happened. Okay. So, John, all right. So I'm going to read an excerpt right now from the article. It said, The Regents tried to pressure Sant'Ono into a confrontation with the Trump administration over the president's executive orders over woke policies, campus anti-Semitism, and how federal research dollars were spent. ONO balked, okay? The Democratic Regents, again, this is not left or right, we're just reading the article, led by Mark Bernstein and Jordan Acker, wanted to make a public show of resistance to the orders. Acker is up for election next year and faces a Democratic nomination process. The Regents penned an op-ed presentation to the New York Times urging U of M to join Harvard and other major universities to defy Trump. The piece implied, this is disgusting what I'm about to read right now. The piece implied Michigan lacked courage and moral clarity in staying silent. So, and there's one more thing I'll read from this article, but I just want to make a point here. The Regents, Jordan Acker, and Mark Bernstein put an article to the New York Times saying Michigan lacked courage and moral clarity in staying silent. What the fuck are they doing, bro? Why would you put a black eye around the university? Why would you go to a news, which I know this shit happens. I know this happens in politics. You go to newspapers, you have them write articles to drive public perspective. I know that's the game. Okay. That's disgusting from your own Regents. That's disgusting, bro. And that's why we're talking about it. I know this is a touchy subject. I know this is a sensitive subject. I know this is probably going to piss people at higher position. I don't give a fuck. You know, that's not what our show calls it like it is. Okay. And then it says, although the piece never ran. Okay. So this article never ran. It stung Sant'Ono and he was asked to sign it and he refused. Those close to the president say he took it personal as an affront to his leadership and worse, an insult to his character. So you have, and we've seen this before, guys. We've seen this before. What did they do to Jim Harbaugh? And do we not remember when Jim Harbaugh said, I wish I had an athletic director who would have my back against these fucking Regents? Mm-hmm. This has happened too much. And one thing that, if you guys have watched our show for over a year, okay, I told you guys one of the biggest hurdles with NIL was there was a contingent of Regents who were against it, like hard against it. There is a Regent, and I'll name his fucking name, Jordan fucking Acker, who said it is morally wrong to pay student athletes. I'm going to tell you right now, the Regents at the University of Michigan are voted in. Mm-hmm. As Michigan fans, our vote needs, now it's going to get a little political. I'm going to say this. Do what you want with your vote. I'm never going to tell anyone what to do with their vote. Do what you want. But I'm telling you, we got some issues at the Regent level. We've had issues at the Regent level. You know, at the end of the day, in my opinion, handle accordingly as a Michigan fan. I'm never going to tell anyone how to vote, though. Do you? But at the end, I'm just saying, this is ridiculous. This is a consistent theme. We have these problems all the time, and we know that the Regents, and John, I'll let you go right here. But we know that the Regents have been a challenge for a lot of things with Michigan, and they just let a very good president fucking leave because they made him feel like shit, just like Jim Harbaugh did, and just like others before him. Like it's not good, dude. It's a bad, like this is not. Michigan's a great university, so much to be proud of. It's toxic, bro. The Regents have some toxicity at that position, man.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for a lot of reasons. I think that just from a high level, when you're the president of a university, it's your job to safeguard the university's resources. It is your job to not be the first president since I don't know how long where the resources go down, where the endowment goes down, where things take the wrong turn. Whatever side of the aisle you're on, what President Ono was trying to do is literally just safeguard his resources, safeguard and essentially just shield Michigan from the media scrutiny that's been going on with Harvard and other major universities who have made public statements. All he was trying to do is run his university. Yeah. I mean, he was literally just doing his job, period.
Right. Well, exactly. And it even says in the article, John, that the reason why he didn't want to, let me find it here. The reason why he didn't want to make some type of fucking public outcry is because, let's see if I can find it, John. You here, carry it. Let me find it. And I'll let you know when I find it.
Okay.
I found. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
ONO's priority was to keep U of M out of the administration crosshairs. He said that he didn't want to put the university's research funding and nonprofit tax dollars at risk. And he didn't want to raise a red flag. He was trying to protect the university, where our regents wanted to make self-interest decisions, self-serving decisions, not only for their political careers, but for their own personal ideologies, instead of doing what is best for the fucking university, bro. That's crazy. It's crazy when you have people, when you have things like this, when you have people that are looking for I and not the greater good, right? And some might argue, and listen, I know this is very easily going down a political road here. Okay, we can have that. I mean, well, we're not going to, but I understand the conversation. What is the big hurdle here, or what is the big political topic? It's obviously the protests that have been going on campus. It's obviously the DEI situation, which I'm not giving my position on any of those. Okay, I'm just simply saying that because of political ideologies, those have become priority over what is best for the freaking university. And we just lost a very good president. And I know, and I'm gonna tell you this, and I'll be very transparent here too. The reason why it frustrates me even more is because obviously he was very, so you could say, well, that's self-serving. TJ, what I'm about to say, you could say, well, that's self-serving. He was very pro athletics, and he cared about the athletic department and wanted to make sure it was the best in the nation. Just like he wanted to make sure the academics and the research and all that was because what Santa Ono said was there's no reason Michigan shouldn't be the best across the board. He fucking believed that, man. And he was just trying to achieve it. You know, and I'm a fan of the university. And if anyone says, and I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not saying someone is saying this, but when I have these debates, I hear these counter arguments in my head. If anyone says, well, TJ, you didn't fucking go to Michigan. My tax dollars go to fucking Michigan.
There you go.
I paid NIL, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So get off my fucking shit. And guess what? My co-host did go to Michigan. So whatever, you know, like I don't even want to hear that argument. That argument annoys the shit out of me. It's a public university. What they do affects the whole fucking state.
Yeah, the whole you weren't in the building. I mean, you could say that to almost every single show that's out there. Is not in the building, right? There are very few that are even that get the opportunity to go to the press conferences, and that would be like your Isaiah Hole, you know, your Ballas, your couple of those. But for the most part, like we're all in various ways reporting on what we're seeing based on sources inside and outside.
Yeah. And like, let's look, here's something that here inside the building. I'll give you what I've heard inside. The Regents are fucking difficult, man. I've said that for a long time. Like I've even mentioned names of certain Regents in the past. If you guys have watched, you would know I've said these names. I know I mentioned some names tonight. We know there are certain Regents who are more difficult than others, man. And it's just frustrating as a fan and as somebody who, again, tax dollars go to that university. You know, like it's just frustrating. Like Santa Ono was a good fucking president that they literally made him feel uncomfortable to not even be there anymore. You know, and guess what? Jim Harbaugh felt the same way. And guess what? The Regents were the reason why Michigan didn't get in the NIL game earlier. And listen, I've given Ward Manuel, and we'll get into that with the whole Sherrone Moore thing. I've given Ward Manuel a lot of credit this past year. I've stuck up for him a lot. But what do we know about Ward Manuel? He's a yes man to these fucking Regents. You know, he is. And I understand. Well, they're the Regents. They call the shots, and they do. But it doesn't mean they're good Regents. I think a lot of people need to look at these Regents a little more closely. And I do think just like you apply pressure to a head coach or you apply pressure to a general manager, I think not only should the citizens, but also the people who care about this university apply pressure to these fucking Regents, bro. Do your fucking job. What is best for the university? Don't do self-serving interest bullshit. Like, or you're trying to achieve political achievements. I mean, I understand like the career aspirations and climbing ladders, and you do got to shake hands and you do got to build through that. And listen, you got to do things to appease others. But damn it, it's a bad look, bro. This is a bad look in my opinion, in terms of just the way it was handled. You know, it's just I don't know. To me, it's unfortunate, John. You know.
Yeah, and so I just want everyone just for a minute to put on the imaginary glasses, tie, suit jacket. Imagine that you're in Ann Arbor. And we all love, pretty much everyone here. There are some Buckeyes in the chat, and a Nebraska fan. But pretty much everyone here is a Michigan fan. Imagine that you're Santa Ono. You're getting your own Regents going against you in the New York Times. You've got protesters at your door on a regular basis, and I think we can agree bad shit is happening in Gaza, and at the same time, no one wants protesters at your door. And it was not just him; the Regents were going through this too. But he's imagining, go to Florida, make a bunch more money, sunshine. I'm not going to have people trying to knock my door down and harass myself and my family. So I feel like I'm just going to ask everybody in chat, like, if you're in his position, what would you do? Because I would leave, and I love Michigan.
And now the people who are supposed to be your bosses write an article to sabotage you and the university. And it didn't get published. Their intention was to have it published. That's why they wrote it. To say Michigan's weak and lacks moral clarity? No, motherfuckers, you're weak. You're bitches. You're bitches. And I don't give a fuck. I know we're live. I know we're recorded. I understand there could be some repercussions, considering we cover Michigan. We may lose or not have opportunity. I don't care. We don't hold back on this channel. It is what it is. In my opinion, and you know what? I'll say this too. I'd be willing to have a conversation, and maybe I could learn perspective that I don't have on it. But I am saying I think this is disgusting, from at least from what we know and what I have heard from just things in the past. It's not good, dude. It's just not good, bro. Like I think it's just at the end of the day, Michigan will survive and Michigan will be fine. Okay, it will, but it's not. But it can be better. It can be more optimal. It's just disappointing.
Yeah, and I will say that at Florida, the board, the regents, or they're called the trustees in Florida. They're appointed by the governor. It's not a voting situation, so they don't need to try to start arguments in the press in Florida. It isn't the same it isn't the same way that the governing body's selected. So Santa Ono is probably not going to have to deal with these types of situations.
Check this out, John. Check this out. And shout out to Minnie Hunt. I see you watching the show. Glad to have you here, Minnie.
Hey, Minnie.
Appreciate it. I see what you do on the Nebraska channel that you work on. Shout out to you. But all right, here's another thing too, though. This same game, trying to go through newspapers to adjust perspective, full transparency here. Jim Harbaugh and the Regents were playing that same game when that was all going down. So Jim Harbaugh's people was leaking things to the news. The Regents were leaking things. Regents were leaking things to the news. That's why you were getting the two different sides of the perspective on that whole fucking thing. And that's why, for example, John, I think you have that book where you get a little bit of Jim Harbaugh's perspective, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The price or the cost?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Yeah. So it's the price, what it takes to win in college football's era of chaos, and it talks about what happened kind of behind the scenes. And I think this is definitely relevant as we get to the next topic, but I do think just he felt the lack of respect. He felt like that he didn't have somebody to fight on his behalf other than his lawyer. But at every turn, whether it was the Big Ten and that punishment that was that if we remember, Michigan was filing an emergency temporary restraining order, but then their legal team told Harbaugh's lawyer, essentially, you got to back down. You got to support us backing down. You have 18 minutes to decide. Don't fuck this up. It's literally what their lawyer told Jim Harbaugh's lawyer. Don't fuck this up. And so that's not exactly support, right? That's the opposite. And the same thing happened when they were negotiating the first three, and essentially Ward Manuel was like, okay, we'll do a 3-game suspension, beginning of the season. So they, if we remember, they self-imposed the beginning of the season too. So it's just like there was no support for Jim Harbaugh. He didn't feel it, and he was willing to stay. And that's the crazy thing. Like, despite the Chargers offering the world, if Michigan had felt like he had people in his corner, there's a possibility he's still our coach.
Listen,
right now.
I do believe if Michigan gave Jim Harbaugh the Nick Saban treatment, I'm not 100% confident he goes to the NFL. I know he says he's always wanted a Super Bowl. I understand that argument. But I do believe if you make Jim Harbaugh feel how he should have been treated, Nick Saban-esque, then he would not have left. Now, I will say, then you could argue, well, the NCAA was going to come regardless. Yeah, you're probably not wrong, because we see it right now, which obviously we'll talk about in the the next topic. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this is just a frustrating situation. And it's unfortunate. Michigan gets in its own way so many times, and this is another one. And I'll tell you right now, guess what? Now we need to pay close attention. We need to be close attention. Yeah, I'll hit on Ted in a minute, but we need to pay close attention who the next president's going to be. Who's what is this next president going to be? I hope it's great. I hope they're great, and they'll have my full support, obviously. But let's hope they care about athletics as much as they care about the academics and the research dollars and all that, because it matters. We'll see on that. But to that Ted guy.
Oh, he's just.
Bro, if you only knew our numbers, you wouldn't talk while you're talking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I took care of it. And Ted, you're welcome to be here and talk ball. We have Buckeyes. We have Buckeye members, people who are paying members of this channel who are Buckeyes. We have Buckeyes who come every single week.
Brother, we're about to eclipse 11,000 subscribers. We have over 200 members. We do very well. Very well. And why do we do very well? Because we have the best Michigan community on YouTube. Name another. I'll wait. Let me know when you find it, and we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I understand, Garrison. I agree with you. Football dollars, I understand that the research dollars far exceed. I know.
Right.
But I just hope our president cares about athletics, because the last one did. And he made Santa Ono is the reason our NIL is where it is. Santa Ono forced Ward Manuel's hand to get the ball in motion, because he was saying Ward Manuel was making excuses, and he was.
Okay? Yeah. We've and there are, you could go back to if you go back to previous videos, there is an entire hour of me saying fire Ward Manuel. There's actually multiple hours because when he got the extension, I basically just went hard on everybody because I just don't think he's a good AD. And you're seeing that continue with Loki Super Chat. Who folds faster, an origami world champion or Ward Manuel? I think it would be a very close battle.
Depends. Did the Regents tell Ward to fold? Because if they did, then it's Ward Manuel. If the Regents told Ward to fight, then it's origami, because Ward does what the Regents tell him. And there's no it's yes men shit. Okay. And that's why Jim Harbaugh said he wanted somebody to have his back against the Regents. Right.
Yeah. Buckeyes battle cry, who we met at who came to Ann Arbor. So that was also trying to get some enemy intel, I guess, along with Doreen and her husband. $1.99 super chat. U of M is liberal U, not surprised. I'm going to leave that alone.
I understand. Well, listen, I understand it's a left-leaning university, but at the same time, do not put a fucking article to New York Times giving a black eye to the university, also calling out your president. You're a regent. What the hell, bro? That is just a terrible look. And not only that, Santa Ono tried to appease the positions of the Regents.
Mm-hmm.
you know, but like he also didn't want it to listen, the Regents want to throw fire at the current administration of the United States, which could affect research grant money.
Right. Yeah, it
You
could
know?
affect. Yeah, what he was trying to do, like I said, his job is to govern. His job is to protect his resources, and the Regents were not governing in that moment. They were essentially wanting to throw political hay so they could get reelected.
And I want to say, I don't want to group all regions because I don't know if it's all the regions, but we do have names of some of the regions. And what I'll say is there is a self-serving political push by them that is for that and not for the betterment of the university. Now they may argue, well, it is the betterment of the university, but is it? Because you just lost a very good fucking president. And not only that, you're trying to the move you were going to make, which is a dirty fuck. It's obviously it's in you know, it's really Machiavellian is what it is. You know, to try and go behind the scenes and cause perspective through a different source. Hey, it wasn't me, but it was you. Why don't you just fucking say, hey, how about this? Hey, Jordan, why don't you just fucking tweet it on your fucking Twitter account? Why do you got to use the New York Times? Oh, because you don't want your name behind it. Well, it's out now, bud. You know?
Yeah.
You know, like some of them are vocal on Twitter. Well, then do it there. Put your name behind it, right? Like, I don't, it's frustrating. It's just a dirty game, bro. Dirty game.
And even though this isn't a super chat, this is worth mentioning because Harvard was just denied. The Department of Education essentially denied any new research grants for Harvard because of the public battle that they're having.
There you go.
And Santa Ono was trying to make sure that Michigan had everything they needed to continue to thrive. And that's literally the definition of his job.
It's ridiculous, dude. Like, again, this isn't political. I mean, it is, but like we're coming from the position of what is the best for the university. I'm not coming from this position as a left-leaning individual or a right-leaning individual. Really, I'm just observing. I'll be all right. You want to know I'm a political observer. I watch both sides. I think both sides have some wild shit to them. Okay. But at the end of the day, this is not for the best interest of the university. This was something that was a bit sabotaging. Now, thankfully, I mean, I guess, well, I was gonna say, well, it didn't fully go through, but at the end, but the damage was done. The damage was done. You made you made someone feel that you were going against their character as a person, as a man. And not only that, and here's what we do know about Santa Ono. He's an all-in type of person, willing to sacrifice self for the betterment of his job. That's what made Santa Ono so great, is he was literally like, from what I've heard, is like nonstop all the time, keep going, like just a hard worker all the time, like late hours, early mornings, that type of individual, you know? And it's just unfortunate. And now listen, I hope and will support the next president of the University of Michigan. But let's hope it's not a Mark Schlissel type. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Remember that was an interesting journey.
That's what I'm getting at, you know. And with these regions, who fucking knows what they're gonna hire, bro?
And maybe he was more aligned with the majority of the Board of Regents, but then he had his own off the field, as we call it, off the field issues, extracurriculars with his secretary. So I mean, like what? Either can we just get a president that like Santa, at least he had the interests of the university at heart. And you don't always get it right when you're in, you know, heavy is the crown, right? Heavy is the crown. Decisions are tough. And he has to make a lot of decisions. And the Board of Regents weren't allowing him to do the job that they hired him to do, and that's why he went to Florida. And it's really that simple. And you could bring politics into it or not, but at the end of the day, it's literally just he wasn't allowed to do his job. So I get why he left.
Yeah, I would too. If you don't have the support of your bosses, what are you doing? You know,
GT with the 5. I feel like our biggest concern should be that our regents are so out of touch with reality that they think people still read the New York Times.
Fair point.
Yeah. There's definitely a reality. You know, when, they called it with Steve Jobs, the reality distortion field. He believed his own reality, right? He had his own truth. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Steve Jobs that Aaron Sorkin made. It's a must watch, and there's a lot of that in there. And the whole idea is that they're making their own reality, and it seems like that's what the Regents are doing as well. The truth with the $5 Canadian. Clowns coming here disrespecting, then crying. Why the disrespect? Michigan, though, needs to grow a backbone. Fight the NCAA tooth and nail. Fuck the hypocrisy. We can say fuck on this show.
Yeah.
So we'll say it.
Yeah.
Minnie, I'll throw you a GBR. For that $20 super chat. Been watching you guys forever. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Minnie. You didn't have to do that.
Didn't know you've been watching us forever, but glad to have you here. You're always welcome here. So welcome to the community, Minnie.
And you also, TJ, starred this one, so I'll put it up.
My arch nemesis, Steve.
Steve,
yeah. Me and him have a history. He's always come at me and I've gone at him. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think me and Steve have a respect for one another. And I just wanted to highlight this. Like, this just goes to show you exactly what like others like Garrison or Doreen or any of our other Buckeye friends, to Steve's point, I'm not a paid member, but I've grown to respect John and TJ. But I was born and raised in Columbus. The Wolverine hate is ingrained in my soul, which, by the way, fully respect that, brother. You know what I mean? Like, we respect the rivalry. I respect the Buckeyes for having their positions. We respect, and we've always said this: the rivalry or college football would not be as great without you losers. Respectfully, but like the point being is, it wouldn't be as great without having the Buckeyes, to talk shit about. So, at the end of the day, shout out to my guy Steve. Appreciate it. We appreciate the kind words, my man.
Absolutely, thank you, Steve. All right, so. We do want to remind everybody that we do have opportunities to sponsor Voice of College Football, both Michigan and all the other team channels and the main channel of Mark Rogers. Just go to sponsorships at vocfb.com. We also have our brand new VOCFB website, which does have an article from Bruce Yazdia on the topic we're about to cover. The suspension of Sherrone Moore. So you guys can all check that out. I also have a couple of articles on the Voice of College Football website covering the spring game.
Yeah,
but
so
it's looking good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so guys, if you guys want to support us even more, as we've been working very hard on the network, trying to do big things with it. We did just launch our website, which we're very excited about and proud of. I'm very proud of this website. This website, some backstory here. The concept for this website was actually developed in July by me, but it was a team collaborative effort to get here. It took a lot of people, Mark, I want to give a shout out to Chris Sadler, Cliff, our web developer, obviously Matt Zemek, our managing editor, and then all of our entire team of writers, which, John, if you hit writers, you can show our team of writers. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it was a long journey to get here, but it took a team effort and we all did it, man. So we're excited to have it. Obviously, it's just the beginning. We have not achieved anything yet, but we're going to keep working on it, keep building it. We have a good team of writers. We have a good, obviously a good network of podcasters, and we're excited of what's to come for the Voice of College Football. Because I've always told you guys this, anyone, you can put my word on it. I've given you my word and I mean it. I told you guys this last summer or whatever. Where we are as a podcast, a network, is not where we're heading. I promise you we will continue working and building this thing. And you guys being a part of it is a big deal. We appreciate that. So thank you, everybody who has supported us, whether small or large. Everyone matters. So we appreciate all of you.
Absolutely. I do have a few more articles to submit from the spring game. We're doing a 6-article series that Matt Zemek has asked me to send over. And so we've got a couple of the articles in. We got 4 more to go. So keep an eye out for the other 4. And obviously we have other Michigan writers, Michigan content. We had a Michigan story on the Sherrone Moore of it all. And so why don't we get to that? Okay. So yesterday, for those of you who watched, we did do a members only show where I got a lot off my chest. So today I'm approaching this from more of an even keeled angle than last night.
I kind of want you to bring that same energy, John. We're on a roll today, bro.
All right.
On a roll today.
Well, listen, Michigan has self-imposed the do nothing, feckless, ineffective athletic director Ward Manuel, and Michigan's athletic department has self-imposed a 2-game suspension for head coach Sherrone Moore, which is currently slated for games 3 and 4, Central Michigan and Nebraska. However, as I said last night, I had a back and forth with Chris Ballas where I asked him straight up yesterday, I asked him, is this what you're writing is essentially implying that this might be it? That this 2-game suspension might be it. His response was, there may be more. And it may be a situation where the NCAA wanted 6-game suspension, Michigan comes in at 2, and then they meet in the middle, or they meet somewhere in the middle at 3 or 4.
Yep.
They also want to do the first 2 games instead of 3 and 4. So this is not done yet. This is essentially Michigan's opening salvo. But my entire point yesterday, TJ, was why the hell are we negotiating from this position instead of, I think, the position of strength in any, and I've been in business for 11 years. You don't start off with, hey, we messed up, we deleted text, here's 2-game suspension. No, you fax over the middle finger and you say, we'll see you in court. And that's where you start your negotiation. And then the other side says 6 games. And then maybe you get to 2. Maybe. Or maybe it just gets dropped and there's a fine.
Right. Yeah. So there's a few ways to look at this, the one way to look at it, to John's point, and here's what's crazy about the Sherrone Moore involvement. So Sherrone Moore deletes text messages, right? Then they get recovered and they find nothing. What was it 82 text messages or something like that, or 63 or something, anywhere from 60 to 80 text messages, whatever. They find nothing in them relating to sign gate or anything that is proving guilt or anything, nothing. And yet Michigan's still going to punish Sherrone instead of fighting, as they said. Do we remember when, I think it was either the end of January, early February, where Ward Manuel says we're going to fight the NCAA if we find what they bring to us to be unreasonable, something along those lines. But then there's the other counter perspective here, where it's like, okay, well, if we take a proactive approach and we show that, okay, we've self-punished, although as I'm saying this, I'm thinking to myself, like, for what? Deleted text messages that said nothing? Fuck. Yeah, I mean, they have no proof. The NCAA has no proof. They don't.
Yeah.
And the text messages had no substance in them, even though they were deleted, but they were recovered. And it's just, I don't know. It's, as a fan, I'm a bit frustrated because it's like, well, why don't we just fight these motherfuckers? And then I know there's probably Buckeyes. It's because you're guilty. Guess what? There's just no fucking evidence. There isn't any actual factual evidence, because as we've talked about many times, John, the individuals who have snitched, right? And we can name their names, but we won't. We've said it enough. Their names are out there. They don't have credibility. And if you put them in court, then you would argue that their credibility would make them not a reliable witness. And that would be Michigan's position.
Yeah, it's called discrediting the witness, and it's very very common in any defense known to man.
Okay. So correction, it was 52 text messages. So forgive me, I don't know the exact number, but regardless, 52. By the way, not a lot. Would they talk just like one time about fantasy football? I don't know. But like, point being is, yeah, that's a bit frustrating. Now the counter position is, well, guess what? What Michigan's going to do here is they're going to self-impose. Now we all know what's up. Games 3 and 4, who gives a shit? Like, quite honestly, Michigan should be just fine. I know the Nebraska game, shout out to Minnie. Nebraska game's on the road, a little bit more challenging, but obviously you can't say, well, games 1 and 3, just not 2, because we play against Oklahoma, right? So they're going to say 3 and 4 to make it look consecutive. I feel Michigan should be okay in the Nebraska game, but obviously it's on the road. Nothing's guaranteed, especially in college football. But that's the approach. Michigan would much rather have Sherrone Moore on the sideline for that Oklahoma game. And I think they would much rather have Sherrone Moore on the sideline for that very first game to set the tone, get the season going, and then let Bill Poggi, who we would suspect is the head coach, the intern head coach, we would expect that to be the case. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a little frustrating, but the one thing is too, apparently this will be resolved before the end of summer, which by the way, we told you that, like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, but that's now become a common data point that there is an expectation that is more public now that it should be resolved by August. So that's good. But I don't know, John. I mean, it is a little interesting to me that we are suspending a coach for deleted text messages. So I guess you would argue, well, he affected the crime scene, even though there was nothing of evidence. That'd maybe be the argument, right?
So here's a little visual aid. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this Verizon welcome to Canada message. Okay, so I'm just swiping and then I hit boop, and then it's literally that easy. It took me a second to do that. Sometimes I like to organize my text messages. I don't like to have these random whatevers out there. And so Isaiah Hole laid it out very clearly. Like, it was this not a good thing to do? Yes. Like, by the letter of everything, like, he should have. It's not a great look to delete messages, but he saw Connor Stallions. He had heard that Connor Stallions was in the news. Let's get, but I don't want to see that anymore. Like, I just don't want to see it on my phone anymore. And I really do think that because they were able to recover them like that, I mean, it wasn't even like, I don't know if, like, yes, did he mess up? Was it human error? I'm going to call it human error. Like, it happened. Like, I don't even know if it was, but like, to suspend for 2 games, just preemptively like that without even trying to say, hey, let's put up a fight. I don't.
And then the worst part about it is the NCAA might come at Sherrone Moore as like, oh, he's a second-time offender. Now I did hear from my guy. I won't name his name, but if I believe he's here, so he'll know. Word is that Michigan put this out there, and if they try to go further, then they're going to fight. But you know what? We've heard it, so I got to see it.
I've heard that. I've heard
that
song.
We've heard it, so we got to see. I know. I got to see it, right? I know. I hear you. We'll see. I think. Here's the. All right, can I give the good news though? Here's the good news. There's going to be no vacated wins. There's going to be no vacated title, no vacated Big Ten championships. Nothing that matters to that extent. The only thing here's what, and I've said this for the longest time. There's gonna be a very large fine, guys. A very large fine. 9 in the 8
figures,
teens into the teens of millions of dollars. Okay, it's gonna be a large fine, and Michigan's gonna have to pay that. And then there's probably gonna be some recruiting restrictions, in which we're gonna talk about recruiting restrictions we're already going through right now, in the next segment. And then this entire show is really controversy. It's nothing but controversy surrounding Michigan right now. But, and then I think you're going to, like, we already saw what they did to, they handled the Clinkscale situation. They handled the Jesse Minter. We've already seen how they've handed those out. There's only a few more things at play. The Jim Harbaugh one we haven't quite seen yet, John. Has Jim Harbaugh's punishment has not been laid out yet, right?
No. So as well, I mean, there was that show cause, there was that Burgergate like back.
Yeah, but we haven't
but
seen
there
it for
hasn't been
Stallions.
anything. There hasn't been
Right.
anything for Stallions. And
It's
my original thought was that was they were gonna focus most of their punishment on NFL coaches, so that they looked like they were doing something, but then they didn't actually really accomplish anything of actual substance, because Harbaugh's living it up in LA, Clinkscale's living it up, Minner's living it up. Like, they're not coming back to college within the next 2 years. And so, and Harbaugh is probably never coming back to college. So if they want to give him like double secret probation forever, or like banning him from college football forever, they could like, it wouldn't impact the actual day-to-day of anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested to see the punishment for Connor Stallions and the punishment for Jim Harbaugh, and then obviously let's see if they go any further with Sherrone Moore. But here's the good news, and this is what a lot of Buckeyes, I'm not going to group them all, but some Buckeyes, they can't comprehend. You're not getting a fucking hammer. That's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is some suspensions, some fines, some recruiting violations. And that's going to be there's not going to be a bowl ban. There's not going to be vacated, whatever. Like, that's not happening. It's not. So, and clip my take right here and call me. If I'm wrong, I'll fucking own it, but I'm quite confident in my position on this.
Yeah. Roll the tape back. We put all of our takes on film, so anybody can rewind, and we're not always right, but we're right a lot more of the time than many other shows. I will say that.
High hit rate.
So let's we do have another super chat about this from GT. We have to keep in mind that the NCAA doesn't want this to ever be over. Michigan is the only school willing to keep the NCAA relevant right now.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking today, because I wasn't able to attend the Avengers Only show yesterday. I had to do a meeting. But I did watch the replay. I watched Kinetic and John do their thing. But I was thinking today, off of just watching that show, that members only stream yesterday. I wonder this. I think this is a fair question to wonder. How would Ohio State handle this? How would their university and regents and presidents and athletic director, how would they rally? I bet you they would rally. I feel like they would be unified. Although then you would argue, well, look what they did to Jim Tressel with the whole tattoo thing. So maybe not. Maybe they'd bend a knee too. But then the argument would be, okay, what if this was Tennessee, or what if this was Texas?
An SEC school, any SEC school,
Georgia. Yeah, I'm so curious how other teams
Kentucky, like, I
mean, I'd rather see more of a football power, but I hear you. Yeah. Well, I mean, look at how the basketball shit went down, where they had fucking FBI wiretaps, and everyone got away scotch-free for paying players.
Mm-hmm.
But no, not signs. Can't do that. Can't give kids cheeseburgers. Nope, can't do that.
We have Lambos in the streets.
How crazy is it? That's another thing, like the basketball, the whole FBI wiretapping and learning about all these, was it 6 programs paying players and shit? Something like that. Like, but no, can't have this. Even though this was happening very common in college football.
It's absolutely wild, and I've said this before on the show. There are Lambos in the parking lots. There's millions of dollars getting thrown around. Michigan is still serving out violations from paying for a cheeseburger at the Brown Jug.
That's right.
It's wild.
Oh, and also contacting a recruit before the open window. Well, guess what? They all do it. There's not a school that does not do that. I've talked to recruits. And actually, if you watch Sam Webb's interviews, shout out to Sam Webb. Mm-hmm. He does those interviews with these recruits. Some of them will even drop some shit. Be like, not even that Michigan's. I forgot the kid's name, but there was a kid recently that said, I think he's a 2027. I don't know. He said like he's being contacted and like they shouldn't be doing that. And like Sam Webb's, Sam was, if I can recall the clip, I would say it, but I can't. But I know recently there was a kid, an underclassman, who kind of spoke on it. I won a Sam Webb show, but or his little interviews he does. But like, what the point being is, they all do that. They all contact these kids before the open period. I think August. So like, for example, I believe it's 2027s can be contacted via phone or something. But I could be wrong here. I'm a little iffy. I'm a little fuzzy on the exact rules there. But long story short, like if the kid's a junior, you can't contact him until August or some shit. So I don't know. It's but we all know that's not the case. We all know that is not happening. So but it's just funny that the NCAA wants to come in Michigan for these. And then the other thing that frustrates me, I'll say this. This frustrates me. People, especially the rival fan bases, John, they want to say, oh, well, Michigan's dirty. They're cheaters. How the fuck is what Michigan has done worse than buying players for decades, improving your talent on the field, buying talent, giving you a significant advantage in fucking talent gap? How the hell is that not dirty?
In this book, in addition to the stuff about Ward Manuel saying, "Oh, we'll give him 3-game suspension," and some of the other crazy stuff on the Harbaugh thing, there's also a whole segment about Nick Saban looking the other way when donors would give the post-game handshakes with envelopes in them. So this was happening. The SEC was paying players for 20 years, maybe more, before any NIL. And yet McDonald's bags getting thrown around. But God forbid the McDonald's bags actually have a burger in them. Because then you're screwed.
If it's got money, you're good. Cheeseburger? No. F that, dude. Can't have it. Fucking
absolutely wild.
Has a $500,000 official visit. They spent $500,000 on, which is illegal. You can't even decorate a recruit's room, let alone give them $500,000. Unbelievable. You got Clemson doing NIL through 501(c)(3)s, which is illegal. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were illegal. You got Rashawn Gary being offered $300,000, publicly stating it. No big deal. No big deal. From Clemson, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, and Clemson was all about, well, we don't do name, image, and likeness. We're just in God's name, image, and likeness. We don't we don't do the cash thing. Yeah, you did. You've been doing the cash thing for a little while now, man.
Bro, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, it amazes me that like the rivals, there are a few other fan bases. I've seen some other want to act like Michigan is cheaters and dirty, when the shit that has gone on in college football since the 70s, probably longer, is way worse. It's way worse. Buying talent is, hey, give Eastern Michigan all your fucking signs and have them go up against Michigan and let's see how that goes. Michigan will fucking roll them over. They'll roll them over. Okay?
So,
it's talent matters. That's why there was that's why the 2010s, there was such a lopside in the 4 major programs, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States, Clemson, and we'll throw Oklahoma in there too, right? Those programs were fucking paying so much money for players over everybody else. Now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean Texas wasn't, but they couldn't get their shit together in terms of head coach. So you do need a head coach, right? Doesn't matter how much talent you have. Okay. You still need someone to lead the troops, right? Lead the program. But at the end of the day, those programs were playing ball when a lot of programs were not. Now times have changed, and that's why you see a lot of parity now in college football, and there aren't these juggernaut teams anymore. Although, again, I'll give my respect. Ohio State did the damn thing in the college football playoff. Mm-hmm. They looked like a juggernaut in the playoffs, but we all saw in the playoffs. Damn, there's no teams really sticking. Like when Ohio State was on their run, I know I've talked to a lot of people. No one was like, who's gonna stop them?
Because nobody Texas. Like I was like Texas.
Maybe Texas.
Maybe Texas.
But we all knew everybody else. It didn't look like they had the capability, So it's just now we are in a state in college football where there's just far more parity, and I think it's gonna get even more level. I think the playing field's gonna be even more leveled because now you have teams paying for players who are not your typical blue bloods. You got like the Texas. I'm not saying Texas Tech is going to be a power, but they're buying kids. They're going to be better than they were. So it's interesting times in college football.
Yeah, my thing on this is, where's the support for your coach? Where's the support for your football team, your football program in 2025? Where's the support? Like, here's a line from, so in the price, it's page 224. It's talking about the lawsuit that Michigan was bringing against the Big Ten for the punishment during the season. They were trying to file a temporary restraining order, as everybody remembers. And so Tom Mars was Jim Harbaugh's lawyer, and he said, FYI, if Michigan is even considering withdrawing its lawsuit or doing anything that may deprive Jim of his day in court, because he was ready to walk in there like he loves Judge Judy. He's been at the Judge Judy tapings. He was going to walk in there. He wanted his day in court. Okay. Right. And then all of a sudden, the Michigan lawyers basically said, this is not a negotiation. You have to agree to dismiss the lawsuit alongside Michigan. And so essentially the guy said, this isn't negotiable, Tom. If you screw up this deal or Jim Harbaugh screws this up, we will rain fire down on Jim Harbaugh. This was their lawyers. And so
the lawyers of the university said, the lawyers of who, John, said that about Jim Harbaugh?
So Timothy Lynch, Michigan vice president and general counsel, said, we will rain fire down on Jim Harbaugh. This is what Sherrone Moore is now dealing with. This level of not only lack of support, but like, we're gonna throw a bunch of shit at you if you don't go along with this.
We don't support our own fucking people. And this is why we lose great fucking talent. They wouldn't even give Bakich the support for athletic facilities and match his fucking contract. That's why we lost him, our former baseball coach. Like, dude, man, it pisses me off. It frustrates me. Man.
We do have a couple more, and we do appreciate these super chats here. Blue Wolverine. Everybody throw that blue Wolverine emoji in the chat right now. 1999, would you rather have the rival fan base's version of the hammer drop or Adidas to come back as our clothing manufacturer?
I hated that era.
I'm not a
stripes on the jersey, and
it was ugly as shit. But otherwise, the rival fan base version of the hammer would probably be vacated title, vacated.
We're
gonna have to take Adidas. I don't think it's a close call, to be honest with you. It's tough, but like, I don't want that title to get vacated. I'm not
losing wins. Big Ten.
I'm not losing wins.
National titles or bowl bans. F that. No.
Yeah.
We're going with Adidas. Blue Wolverine. We're getting Adidas jerseys. Get Micah an Adidas jersey. That's where we're all rocking.
We got Courtney Harper with the 5. Ohio and Rutgers gave game plan and signals to Purdue against us in the Big Ten championship. Higher ups want popularity of Bama and prestige of Harvard.
That's right. And let's not forget that Illinois was also, wasn't it? It was Illinois, right? Was the other, there was 3 schools that were involved in the Excel sheet sharing of signs against Michigan. But you know what? It's not talked about. No one, hey, guess what? Didn't see anything, even though there's a staffer who has said, who was on, is it Illinois? I know it's Rutgers, Ohio, and I think maybe Illinois.
I think it was Illinois.
I think so too. If it wasn't, correct me in the chat.
Because remember, Brett was very upset about his loss.
Yeah, and I believe it was the staffer of Illinois who came to Michigan and said, this is what's going on. Right? So, crazy, bro. It's fucking...
yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, there is so much, and I'm sure a lot of you know this, but there is so much going on behind the scenes in college football. If it really came to light, a lot of people would be really turned off with some of the shit that's going on. Now, it doesn't mean you'd hate college football. It doesn't mean you wouldn't love it, but I'm just saying, like, it's not clean out here. All these teams are pushing gray areas to get advantages, and some of them are well aware that they are in red areas. no-go zones, and they're still doing it because they have to win. This is a results business. If you don't win, you're fired. Your families depend on it. Your fucking career aspirations depend on it. A lot of coaches are willing to do things to get places that they otherwise couldn't if they played it straight. And the reason why it's tough to play it straight, not saying there aren't coaches who are, because I'm sure there are some coaches out there playing by the book. But the reason why it's hard to do that is because a lot of them are not. And you're competing against the ones who are stealing money from the bank in Monopoly. It's hard to win a Monopoly when you got someone stealing from the bank. And that's what's happening in college football.
That's a good analogy. Yeah. And Blue Wolverine is reminding everybody to like this video. I mean, this is the type of thing you want to get this video out there. We've had some fire today, and we need as many people watching it, because I think people need to hear what's going on. Not just Michigan fans, but people need to hear what's going on with the NCAA and what's going on, because it could be you next. Like, it could be your team next. And so it's something worth watching.
And at the end of the day, John, we call it as it is. Period. I'm not filtering, I'm not completely unfiltered. Like, I do try to be mindful in the way I approach things, but at the end of the day, I'm not even like, we knew something. I wouldn't hold it unless I had to, like somebody requested that I don't, which I've done. But at the end of the day, we're going to touch the hot topics because I think they need to be discussed. And quite honestly, these are the conversations I would have with my friends. So why not have this with our friends, the community? So our community, this is where we have these conversations. So F it. And we have another goodie for you guys. There's another one, another hot topic next coming up.
Oh, yes. Recruiting updates. There are none because of BurgerGate. Everybody throw the burger emoji in chat. There we go. So TJ, do you want to elaborate on there are none and why the coaches are sitting at home right now instead of out on the recruiting trail?
Yeah. So the reason why recruiting now, a lot of the fan base has been frustrated with what's been going on with the recruiting. And we've hit on a lot of it. We've hit on a lot of how Michigan's not giving exact numbers due to the House bill not being resolved and not knowing roster limits because, I believe the judge who's handling all that doesn't want players to be thrown on the street, which, I mean, I think we can understand. But, like, at the end of the day, this has to be resolved because it matters. But anyways, point being is Michigan's playing a conservative approach in recruiting. But, John, but wait, there's more. Not only is Michigan, not being fully transparent with numbers yet, although we do, I am a firm believer that they're playing a long game in their strategic approach with recruiting right now, but they are not allowed to go on the road and visit prospects. And they have not been allowed for over 2 weeks now, which is why there has been little to no news on recruiting. It's been very quiet. Now, not only have they not been allowed over the last 2 weeks, they are not allowed to go on the road for the next 2 weeks, John. So there is zero visiting of prospects right now in a critical time, right before official visits in May for the next 2 weeks. So Michigan will be on the outside looking in regarding that, which sucks because that's how you really build relationships with families and all that. It shows players how much they mean to the program, like, because you're willing to invest your resources to go visit them at their home. So it is a big loss. Now, the positive is this is the conclusion of BurgerGate. It's done.
This is it.
It's done.
Once these weeks are over, where they're sitting at home, this is the end of the BurgerGate penalties.
Yeah, so that's the positive. Now, it sucks at the end of the day because we have obviously a recruiting penalty that has been agreed to by the NCAA. But, so this is why things have been so quiet, and there really just isn't much to update. I'll say this, like, the one thing that's a little interesting is Ryder Lyons is now projected to go to Oregon. Where the hell did that come from? Obviously we know what that means. NIL is very at play, but it was obviously a USC BYU battle. So that's real. I mean, there's just not much to talk about in terms of recruiting. John, what's your thoughts on this this lack of visits period that Michigan's going through right now?
Well, if it was in isolation. Like if I was looking at this as a one-off and I didn't know everything else, then I would think, okay, all right, well, they're sitting out, they're finishing off Burgergate. Fine. Is it a fair, as the one said, is it fair punishment for buying somebody a burger and watching some Zoom workouts? I still say absolutely not. I really think that a slap on the wrist was what was warranted in that situation. But
one of the Zoom workouts was of a brother of a prospect who was battling an illness. And the kid wanted to show the coaches what he could do.
Yeah.
But punish us. And and then the
Josh Pate said very clearly that what Michigan was penalized for, he knew many other schools that did that and did not get anything.
Bro, one thing that one thing that a lot of other fans of other fan bases do not fucking understand is their schools are doing this shit too. And then you're like, well, you got caught. What is this? What aboutism? Why don't you just look at why don't you just stay in a fish tank and look at your situation? No, fuck that. The reality is it's a dirty fucking game and everyone's playing it. And then you want to come at us and act like we deserve the death penalty?
Mm-hmm.
You're crazy. We're talking a cheeseburger and some damn Zoom workouts during a period of time that we all know was over fucking blown with the restrictions on recruiting and all of that.
Man, I'm so bummed I didn't get to go on the Brown Jug visit because I got in late. Because some of the Avengers went to the Brown Jug, and I was like, damn it, because I would have loved to have. Can I get the same burger that Jim Harbaugh ordered for the recruits?
We should have went there on Sunday.
Yeah.
Instead of the other place.
Next time.
Yeah,
we'll be back.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Let's see. We have another super chat from GT. So since I don't know when we will be able to talk politics again, I would like your guys' honest take on the 1984 election. I feel Mondale was robbed. So
honest take before I was born.
Yeah, that was the one where Mondale won two states. He won his home state in Washington D.C. and then right. So
I'll give my one political take on this show.
Yeah,
the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 was terrible for this country. That's my only take on this show.
Oh snap!
Terrible. Learn the story behind that. Awful. Terrible.
There is also BYU 1984. Who we've discussed many times on Voice of College Football that they actually were the real, they're the best team of all time according to one of our historians named Chris Foote. Yeah. So he's a Voice of College Football historian. And let's see, we got Courtney Harper. I've also got my girlfriend watching, the Courtney. So, but this is Courtney Harper with the 5. NCAA wants the court of public opinion, especially in social media era, just trying to keep suspicion on the program because they have nothing themselves. Yeah, that's why they said it's very rare for the PR person of the NCAA to say, this isn't about a cheeseburger. Because here's the thing, folks. When you say this is not about X, then everybody's going to think it is about X. So by them saying that, they made it 500 times worse on themselves in the PR battle. Because now everybody thinks that it's about a cheeseburger. And to be fair, there were other aspects, right? There were Zoom workouts. There were analyst coaching on field. There were aspects to this. Many other schools were doing it, but then the NCAA just made it worse on themselves by literally saying it's not about a cheeseburger, because now you've just officially made it about a cheeseburger. That was on you. That was your mess up, because they were getting so irritated that they broke their own rule about not mentioning what was going on with an investigation. Meanwhile, Michigan couldn't say anything, so then Tom Mars, Jim Harbaugh's lawyer, started speaking out because Michigan couldn't. Because it's not fair that the NCAA can say whatever they want, and then there's no comeback. So then Tom Mars started speaking out. Then he got reprimanded for that. But I'm glad he did, because someone needed to.
Yeah, I hear you. The NCAA is always going to try and you know what else is amazing, actually, to touch on this, John? It's amazing the things that are leaking from this investigation, which goes against their rules, but it's constantly leaking. Like, for example, that Michigan has proposed. Michigan didn't leak that. Michigan proposed the 2-game suspension for Sherrone Moore. So the NCAA is trying to our super chatter's point, trying to create the public opinion of what should be, right? Instead of allowing this to play out as their guidelines clearly state, it is against the rules to discuss an ongoing investigation or an ongoing case. But the NCAA just keeps Pete Thamel apparently has like a bat phone or something, because he's constantly getting the updates.
Yeah, he well actually what he is he's one of Ryan Day's top friends on MySpace. That's what it is.
Is it? Wait. Oh, I got you. That's so
yeah. Yeah, remember that? You had your top 8? Yeah. No, but I think they're best. They're secretly some best buddies, because he gets all the Ohio State scoops and the Michigan stuff first.
Yeah. All right. Can I play some devil's advocate on that, though?
And sure.
Adam Schefter gets Michigan takes.
That's that's true. He's a Michigan guy.
Listen, everyone plays the game. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just a big game. Everyone, everyone's got everyone's just playing a game at the end of the day for the most part. But and then okay, let's see. Chad, be honest. Has anyone tried a cheeseburger with milk for breakfast? I have maybe. I don't know if I've had a cheeseburger for breakfast before, and I usually drink milk with my breakfast, but I don't know. I can't recall.
No, I usually not me. So maybe TJ has. I have
no. I'm pro milk, man. I'm milk and water guy.
Okay.
That's how you grow 6'5".
That's fair. Yeah. Everybody was commenting TJ could play tight end for Michigan right now.
Yeah, when I was with Wink, I was trying to get my eligibility back.
There you go. We were all with Wink Martindale, and we were all putting in our time. So TJ trying to make sure he had some eligibility.
Yeah, I wasn't a take though. Wasn't a take, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Maybe next year, John. Maybe next year I'll get in.
Well, sometimes you're out at the chop house, and the defensive coordinator at Michigan runs into you, and you gotta seize that opportunity.
Yeah.
Carpe diem, seize the day. So
shit, we should have that photo. Is that photo locked in here? Oh, that should be kept in here, John.
Yeah, we can.
It is.
It is in there. Yeah, it's in there.
Boom. Our good old boy Wink. Oh yeah, that was a good time.
Just trading intel, trading insights with the man himself, Wink Martindale, who kept Ohio to 10 points. So that was pretty cool. I did. Blue Wolverine. I did after the story broke. Harbaugh is a maniac for that dish. Well, I don't think it's a maniac thing. I think. Is it a little odd? You don't have your.
I don't know. Is it though? I mean, look. If you look at it from an athlete's perspective, honestly, good source of protein, good carbs.
Yeah, that's true.
Good calories. It's actually not a terrible meal for breakfast.
And it's not that much of a departure from steak and eggs.
Really? Except you get the carbs with the breads, which is good because they get you ready for the day.
Because people eat steak and eggs for breakfast and milk. So really, you just add.
I have milk every morning for breakfast.
Add a bun and add whatever you want to it, and you got yourself a nice little breakfast there.
Blue Wolverine has challenged me to try this at 8 a.m. I'll let you know when I do it, but I will. I'll let you know, Blue. I will update you at some point this summer. We'll figure out what's going on. I'll take a picture and post it on X. Call it the Jim Harbaugh special, breakfast special.
There we go. All right, y'all. So coming up, we've got, as we know, last Thursday was the debut of Johnny Olden Jr. as the new co-host for Michigan Wolverines Call-In Show Live. We were making it rain in the chat. We went, I think that show went at least 3 hours, right? So that was the first 3-hour show in a minute, and I think people were really pumped about having both of you on there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bringing Johnny to the show was just, it just, again, makes this channel better, makes it stronger, makes, I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to bring somebody with some fire, some passion, and, can dish it and all of that to the call-in show. I believe we've achieved that. Now, obviously, we have many more call-in shows to go. So we're looking forward to having people, a part of it, or, join us on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. for the call-in show. Looking forward to our next show. I'm sure Johnny's got some hot takes. So, yeah, man, excited to have what we have on the channel, John, which is our show here on Tuesdays, myself and Johnny on Thursdays, and then our other segment, which is the Victor's Voice with Bryce Sack and Matthew Ayler, which will be Monday mornings. They upload their segment there. So, yeah, very excited, man. Trying to bring you guys good quality content and really just a place that you guys can enjoy to be a part of. I mean, that's the real goal and the vision here. And we'll keep building it too. Like, we're not done. We'll figure out some more cool shit along the way. So, just wanted to, have this place be a little bit more fun.
Yeah, love this community, and obviously Blue with another $4.99. Okay, that's your homework. You and John both try this weekend and report back.
Weekend, come on. That due date's too early.
That's soon. Yeah.
I'll make it happen. I'll take a picture for you, Blue Over, and we'll make it happen one day.
Detective Loki has listen, Detective Loki is our show's Oprah. He is consistent with the gifted memberships. Today, I'm very happy to announce that Kinetic, aka Eric, aka one of our Avengers, has just received a gifted membership from Detective Loki. So congrats on that. And Kinetic, always, it was great. It was great hanging out with you last night on the Avengers show. And there you go, Detective Loki doing the damn thing as he does. Yeah. All right. And in addition to that, we do want to remind you a couple of Mark Rogers things. So we've got Disputed National Champions, the book that you can get at an Amazon near you about the 1990s and the national champions in the 1990s before we went to the Bowl Championship Series era. And then, of course, make sure you hit the Amazon link. So the Amazon link is in the description section of every video. And if you're already planning to do shopping on Amazon, then if you click the Amazon link, then Voice of College Football gets a couple of bucks potentially. And you're still buying the stuff that you're going to go get anyway. So go ahead and do that. We will have a video here as we leave, say bye-bye for today. We'll have a little video from Mark Rogers, Voice of College Football. But Marmar, 5 months of membership. Love this. Marmar. This is good. No matter the storm, always know you will come out on top. I like that.
That's a good way to close out the show, man.
That is sweet. All right. So don't forget to follow us on X at John Diadamo, at TJ_Ronin. As you can see, once I get rid of the ticker, boom, there it is. Follow us. And we do have a new background coming. That is true.
That'll have our stuff above the ticker. It'll be soon.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Until next time, go Blue. We'll see you soon. And here's a note from Mark Rogers, Voice of College Football.
Go Blue.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link, and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the voice of college football.